The United States may be about to spend billions of taxpayer dollars to buy a chain of remote islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and Wall Street is paying attention. According to a report from The Telegraph, the U.S. is actively considering purchasing the Chagos Islands, a strategically vital archipelago currently under negotiation between the UK and Mauritius. This isn't just geopolitics. When superpowers make moves like this, it sends ripple effects through defense stocks, emerging market ETFs, interest rate expectations, and even the S&P 500. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what this deal means for your portfolio and what smart money is already positioning for. In this video, you'll discover exactly why the Chagos Islands matter to global financial markets, how a potential U.S. acquisition could reshape defense spending and the Federal Reserve's calculus, which ETFs and sectors stand to gain or lose, and the 3 concrete steps you can take right now to position your portfolio ahead of the curve. Stay with us because this story is moving fast. So what exactly are the Chagos Islands? Located roughly in the center of the Indian Ocean, the Chagos Archipelago is home to Diego Garcia, one of the most strategically significant military bases on the planet. The US and UK have jointly operated that base since 1966 under a lease agreement. It serves as a critical hub for naval operations, long-range bomber missions, and surveillance across the Indo-Pacific and Middle East. The base has been used in virtually every major US military operation for the past 5 decades. Control of Diego Garcia is not symbolic, it is operational. And losing it, or having it fall under the sovereignty of a nation friendlier to China or Russia, would be a seismic shift in global power dynamics. The stakes are enormous. Here is where the financial story gets interesting. The UK and Mauritius had been negotiating a deal that would transfer sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, while allowing continued use of the Diego Garcia base under a 99-year lease. The estimated price tag on that deal was reportedly around $150 million per year, nearly $15 billion over the full term. Now, The Telegraph reports that the United States is considering stepping in directly, potentially purchasing the islands outright, or taking a controlling financial stake in the arrangement. That number could be significantly larger. Think about what that kind of government commitment signals to markets. Defense contractors, logistics firms, and aerospace companies tied to Indo-Pacific operations all stand to benefit from a deepened, long-term U.S. military commitment in the region. Let's talk about defense spending and what it means for the stock market. The S&P 500's defense sector has already been one of the strongest performers over the past 2 years. The iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF, ticker ITA, has returned over 20% in the last 12 months alone. Companies like Northrop Grumman, Raytheon Technologies, and Lockheed Martin derive significant revenue from Indo-Pacific basing operations and logistics contracts. A confirmed U.S. acquisition of the Chagos Islands would almost certainly trigger new rounds of infrastructure spending, base expansion contracts, and long-term defense procurement. That is direct revenue visibility for these firms, and the market prices in visibility. It always has. Now let's address the Federal Reserve angle, because it matters more than most people realize. Large-scale government acquisitions, especially those involving multi-billion-dollar international commitments, feed directly into the national debt conversation. The Federal Reserve monitors fiscal expansion closely because new deficit spending can be inflationary. As of early 2025, the Fed funds rate sits in a target range of 4.25% to 4.50%. The Fed has been deliberate, some would say cautious, about cutting rates, citing persistent services inflation and strong labor market data. Any significant uptick in discretionary government spending, including a strategic island purchase, adds one more data point to the inflation persistence narrative. That means rate cuts could be pushed further out on the calendar. For bond investors and rate-sensitive ETFs, this is a critical variable to watch. What about emerging markets? This is the angle most retail investors completely miss. Mauritius is classified as an emerging market economy, and the Chagos negotiation has been closely watched across sub-Saharan Africa and the broader Indian Ocean region. A US-backed deal rather than a UK-Mauritius bilateral agreement shifts the geopolitical center of gravity in a way that affects trade routes, port access, and regional investment flows. The iShares MSCI Emerging Markets ETF, ticker EEM, has exposure to Indian Ocean rim economies. Any escalation of great power competition in this region tends to increase risk premiums on emerging market assets. That means higher yields demanded by investors and lower prices on EM bonds and equities in the short term. Volatility creates opportunity, but it also creates risk. So what should you actually do with this information right now? First, review your exposure to defense and aerospace ETFs. If you hold ITA or XAR, Understand that positive catalysts are building, but valuations are already elevated. Discipline matters. Second, check your emerging market allocation. If you are overweight EM, consider whether your risk tolerance accounts for increased geopolitical volatility in the Indo-Pacific corridor. Third, do not chase rate cut predictions. The Federal Reserve has been clear that it is data-dependent, and new fiscal commitments from Washington only complicate the timeline. Stay diversified, stay patient. The market rewards preparation, not reaction. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always consult a licensed financial advisor before investing. The Chagos Islands story is still developing, and the full financial implications may not be priced in yet. That window, between a major geopolitical development and the moment the market fully digests it, is where informed investors have historically found the most opportunity. Watch this space. The numbers will tell the story. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are trying to make smarter financial decisions. Subscribe to YieldWire so you never miss a market-moving story like this one. And check the description for our recommended brokerage link, where you can start building the kind of diversified, research-backed portfolio we talk about every week. The next move is yours.